Says we're live.
Okay, we're live now. Yeah, we're live. Let's check if it does work. Okay, seems like it worked. I hope so.
I think yes.
Yes, it worked. Awesome. Okay, hi everybody. Oh, I have to share the link. Okay, now I'm getting confused. Share the link. Okay, maybe you can just introduce yourself or what we're doing while I'm sharing the stuff.
Matthias is building a house.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay, well, I'll just start then. How about that?
Maybe he's disciplining his kid. Who knows?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Hey everybody. Now we're live on the other Hangout, on the other YouTube live stream. And I just repeat myself now. We're talking about how PIVX is moving forward, where PIVX is actually coming from for the from darknet, what the past was, and yeah. Okay, we have another guy who wants to join. So yeah, guys, maybe you just start talking again. I just invite Mr. Spock.
All right, I'm just going to introduce myself. Everybody should know me. I'm Grant. Hi.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
Hello, Grant.
I've been involved in crypto since 2015. I met Eric on a Reddit post going, where the heck can I spend Bitcoin in Barrie, Ontario? We met up. And we've never left. We've been together since then. We were with the Dash community for probably about a year. And after we sort of didn't really see it as our direction, we found Darknet and then that turned into PIVX. And the Darknet since October.
Very cool. Okay, we got Mr. Spock on here also.
Awesome.
Morning, folks.
All right, who's next? Who's next? Introducing.
The person who's asking, so you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian. You probably know me in the Slack rooms as Snappy. Yeah, I've been in crypto since 2012, 2013. First heard about Bitcoin, got involved, thought like this thing's awesome. Had no idea how it really worked, but just had a sense about like this is going to be something epic, right? And then found myself going, well, what else is out there? And was combing through CoinMarketCap, and at that point, I don't know, there might have been like 100 coins on CoinMarketCap. And literally, I sat there and went, all right, what's got a good name and a community around it? So the one I stumbled into was a coin called Netcoin. It's probably one of the original. It's an older coin that's been out there, but at the time, it had a pretty robust community. And it's had its own life cycles. It's seen its own issues within the crypto realms, development work, and it's still going. There's still a little bit of a community around it. But through there, just made some amazing relationships with people, which, I can speak to. But that's basically led me into Darknet, which is now PIVX. And it's a pleasure to be with everybody here. So.
Yeah, awesome. Maybe I proceed. I'm Sarah. I am, I don't know. I think I heard of Bitcoin in 2013 and I thought, what the hell is this? And I think there it was at $10. And I didn't buy, of course. I was 18 years old. And yeah, I don't know. Cryptos kind of followed me around the last years. And yeah, then my boyfriend and I, Marcus, he's also on Slack, yeah, found another project called Fermat, and I don't know, things came together, and then Cryptozy, yeah, got in contact with us, and yeah, so I joined PIVX, and I was flattered by the community, how it was exploding out of ideas, and yeah, that's why I'm here. And where I'm hosting the live streams and everything. Yeah. Okay, who's next?
I'll jump in next. So Grant already introduced a little bit of how we met, and so it would have been back in 2015. And we both really had some extra time, and we wanted to get involved in something, and we wanted to kind of prove that we could make shit happen. So we saw we were involved in Dash at the time, and we saw the Dash and Drink machine. We thought that was really, really cool, and decided to build one ourselves. And that still isn't done, but its goal originally was to open up other opportunities, show that we can, take a task and get working on it, and by doing that, prove that we can get stuff done and open up other opportunities, as I said, and it did. And in fact, it opened up opportunities so fast, we still don't have the pop machine done. But that's, everything happens for a reason. That's great, because it was going to be a Dash and Drink machine, and now it's going to be a purple PIVX pop machine, or whatever we're going to call it. And so that's going to be, it's already sitting here at the creative space, and it's the perfect spot for it to be, because there's probably 40 or 50 people that would be walking by it every day, and they're all geeks, and they'll climb the learning curve really fast as soon as we have a mobile wallet ready to go. And it's also involving kids that are part of a makerspace that operates out of the basement here once a week. And so they're involved in little projects related around it as well, making lights blink on it when a pop is purchased and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Grant and I both very different, yet in some ways we really want to get involved in the crypto space, and that's why we're passionate about it, and that's why we're here.
Awesome. Maybe Grant, you want to follow up?
What was his name?
Eric.
It was Eric.
Okay.
I'm Eric. I was the one that's just talking. Sorry. If I can introduce myself, I really should say my name. Yeah, it's Eric.
Okay, Grant, do you want to proceed?
Oh, actually, I thought I already introduced myself. That's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Do it again. Yeah, like just
Too
as Eric,
much.
we really have had a lot of really good adventures in this little crypto space, and the ideas just never stop coming. And PIVX really, with the community, allows us all to learn things and get excited about things that we never would have even considered before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then Greg, maybe you want to introduce yourself? Greg?
Me?
Yes.
Craig. Okay. Yeah, I'm Craig. I just recently got involved in crypto. I found out about it. I heard about Bitcoin when it was, I guess, in 2006. Like, it was like 40 cents, something like that. It was ridiculously low, but just didn't know much about technology back then. But started. I went to Acapulco last year in the summer and met all the people down there, Jeff Berwick, and all the people that were part of that group, and started hearing more about Bitcoin. And so I bought a little bit, and then I started buying Dash a couple months ago in February. That was crazy. So I bought like a whole bunch of it. Like, I ran up credit cards and stuff, and got a whole bunch, and it turned out really well. So I've moved all of that over to PIVX, and this team, it's just really amazing. And I'm super happy to be in it at this point in the process, to see it grow. And I don't know, it's really awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Good to have you here.
Thanks.
Okay, Matthias, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I did it last time in the hangout of the $1 and then go back to 50 cents party. Basically, I'm very new to crypto, so I'm trying to learn now, but I knew about Bitcoin and the tech, but I was never involved because the community around it and the values that I saw never clicked for me. And I kind of, again, like Craig, also I saw Dash, and I was kind of going to get into Dash when some Twitter, maybe from Eliha or something like that, like pushed me to the Slack. And then as everybody that I think that is entering right now, got like a welcoming party, and it was like, wow, like who are these people? Like, and so basically I started to see the flood of people coming and coming and coming, and I think I got even more interested in that than we're currently building, because I think that the network of work that we are developing here is not only going to do maybe the coin. Like, I don't know when the coin is ready, like all this work people that we have, like I think that I listened to one of the hangouts that you had before, and someone say like, if we fail, like I want to like look at everybody here and say like, okay, what is next? And like I was thinking like,
That was snappy.
if we, it was snappy. So like I was thinking that, okay, if we achieve it and we have the coin, so what is next? All that network of trust that we are going to develop and all that work possibilities, like for sure after the coin, there are so many things that we can do. So I think that we have a really interesting opportunity here, and I'm very interested of seeing what is going to happen if we have 10,000 people in Slack. So I'm going to stay to see that.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so we got Michael and Pim. Who wants to start first?
I'll go next. My name is Michael Gaio, and you guys hear me okay? My microphone. Okay,
Yes,
good.
very good.
So I've been involved in the internet for about 20 years. Got involved in web design and web development pretty early on in the mid 1990s, and then I discovered Bitcoin in December of 2010. Very early, it was 25 cents at that time, and I spent a whole weekend researching it. And unfortunately, I didn't invest then. It was a couple years later in 2013 that I was reminded of Bitcoin. I saw how far it came, and then I invested right before the big spike up to $1,000 in 2013. And that felt so good, and it really captured my attention. And that's what got me really engaged with researching Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. And ever since then, it's really changed my life. Particularly, I'm so inspired by the potentials of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology to transform the world, not just in economics, but in governance and in legal ways, in all kinds of ways. I see that cryptocurrency, in some sense, is like an innovation on the internet itself, and we're still just barely seeing the potentials realized of that. You know, I've been involved for a couple of years, just doing a lot of investing and day trading and kind of researching what's happening in space. And a few weeks ago, I noticed what was happening with Dash, and I became very inspired by Dash, and got a stake in, and was beginning to get involved with the community, and really inspired, particularly by their masternode incentives, which is a new paradigm, and by their intention towards governance within the community. And then just about, I guess it was about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I saw someone post a mention to PIVX in a TradingView channel, and I went and checked it out, and I just happened to get involved somewhat early as an investment. And then I started hanging out in the Slack channel. And as Matthias said, I quickly became to discover that not only was PIVX an amazing technology, but I became aware of how thriving and different the community is. And that quickly became, an indicator of greater value to me. And since that time, I've been very, very inspired to continue to be involved in the community.
Very cool. I experienced the same.
Yeah.
Okay, Pim. Pim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. I started with Bitcoin in 2013. Then I saw the whole discussion about Bitcoin, SegWit, Bitcoin Unlimited, Roger Ver on Facebook, and he also made a remark about Dash. I didn't like this discussion because people were undecisive. So I went to look at Dash, and I saw this model of governance, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. This is a good point. I mean, here you can make decisions. Dash is also saying it. They had the same discussion about the Bitcoin Unlimited, and they had decided it within 24 hours. And then I looked at the proposals, and there was a proposal from a guy from Kiev. And I contacted him, and we met, and we spoke about Dash. And the next day, I saw this proposal, and again, a new comments. And there was one who told him that he was asking too much for his proposal because he was from Ukraine, and people in Ukraine don't, should not earn much money. So, a way of that you get, you create an elite to, defend yourself why you ask this kind of money, and so I started to look further. There was an interview between some Dash guy and Roger Ver, and somebody made a remark about PIVX, and that brought me to PIVX with Grant. Grant spoke about the billion unbanked, and I totally agree with that. We have something about it. I think that is the reason why we have cryptocurrency. I'm not interested in a specific brand. I want to look for the brand who understands that it's about 5 billion unbanked people. And of course, cryptocurrency can lead, and you see it, and I think that is what happened with Bitcoin. They totally forgot about, hey, the rest, and thought too much about themselves, and that's what I'm not interested in. I'm really interested in mass adoption, make it so interesting for a lot of people, and to find ways to make it to the masses. And I think that is the intention of cryptocurrency. That's why we are working with cryptocurrency. That's why the universe gave us cryptocurrency. So it's not, everything has a reason, and we have to find out what. And I think in PIVX there is a very good opportunity to find out why we have cryptocurrency implemented in global society.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we should start. Yeah, does someone have something very important to say? Maybe an announcement or something like this?
We just crossed 1750. I think it's an important mark, like member count, and that has been growing and growing. All green bars in user count, so that's very good. I think.
Unbelievable.
It's funny that we used to be counting master nodes.
Yeah. Nope. So here's a mission for somebody who's technically or technologically minded. Link Slack members to some sort of like automatic graph, right? Like if there's a way to pull that stat and display it in live time, that'd be awesome, right? Like that'd be so cool. Like some sort of counter system on the website. I don't know. That's just me, but yeah.
I think we can make because the bot is already reacting. So the bot can send that message directly to a web service. Actually, like we have been talking with Matthew Beat, that he just entered, and he just been posting like crazy, like the member count, and he was going to do it by hand. Actually, this is what we talked in a DM.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot more sense what you said, and actually the bot already can send the hour of each member, and then we can process that information somehow.
That's huge. Yeah, that would be so cool to see. Like, now we have, PIVX World, the map, also have some counter spinning as well. It's like cling, cling, cling. It's just like, oh, now we're at 2,500 people. Like, what just happened? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can have frequency rate of how many people are joining, not only like the counting going up. So
yeah,
nice. We could have that display inside of Slack too when we hit certain milestones. If we hit 2,000, it can automatically post there. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, so that's mental note. Let's set that up in Slackbot. That should be pretty easy to do. But also, if somebody can figure out how to pull that from the bot and display that, that'd be really cool. That'd be really neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so in the last hangout that didn't work, Eric was giving a brief introduction where PIVX was coming from. It was coming from Darknet. Had a lot of contributions. How many was it, Eric?
I don't know the counts exactly.
Okay.
The question generally was, you know, there's been a lot of activity for a long time. Why, if we're brand new as of March 1st, it's not quite that way, right? So what was, how I explained it was, is that there was probably a lot of due diligence and investigation of the code before the Darknet team started, but they forked the code January 31st, 2016, so just over a year ago, and then it became Darknet. And there's been a lot of activity on GitHub since then for merges and changes and switching from proof of work to proof of stake, et cetera, et cetera. And I think things quieted down for a bit, and then the rebrand started at the end of 2016, and a lot more activity started happening on GitHub. And the rebrand officially completed March 1st when we launched PIVX.org. And with all the eyeballs on the project now, there's a lot of people discovering PIVX, and a lot of those people are developers. So somewhere along the way, we went from having one main developer to having, I think, 6 or 8 or maybe as many as 10 part-time developers now. And part-time is probably the wrong word, because I know a lot of these guys are putting in a lot of hours. But so it's a way, way more healthy development environment now. And yeah, that summarizes what was asked and how I answered the first time.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, what did you want to talk about when you planned the live stream? Matthias?
I think it was Sandov, but I don't know how to pronounce his name actually. But I think that Brian was going to tell us a little bit about background, and at least for the new people that are around, at least me, I'm very interested in knowing a little bit of the details and the behind of the scenes. Yeah. As many info that we can get there, I think it's going to be good for everybody.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, at some point we talked about this having, so the two co-founders, right? Well, I guess the guys that were there from the beginning. So Seven Hacks, you know, CoinServer will say Seven's the brainchild of this, right? But those guys are pretty much hand in hand from day one in this. You know, the overarching sense that I got, and I can give some background history with them. The overarching sense is that they really wanted to go for an anonymous coin. Right, there was a lot of talk, there was a lot of work, and this was a year and a half ago now. So put yourself back a year and a half ago where things were developmental-wise with all these coins, right? And there was a genuine sense of, let's just try and figure this out. And so they started down the road, and they branded it Darknet. So I have known and talked to Seven Hacks and CoinServer a lot. We were both involved, all three of us were involved in a project, again, with Netcoin back in the day. So we were all part of that community. We were working together and supporting that community and trying to make things run. And I got a real, again, when you talk to people, right, when you're in a Slack channel, I think a lot of us would agree, you can start to get a sense of somebody pretty easily. It's remarkable, right? Like, you're not even seeing a person's face, and there's a way to intuit through how they're writing, how they're engaging. So yeah, we had hangouts as well during those times, and just seeing them interact with people and what they would do, and the conversations went beyond crypto, especially with CoinServer, just like on a normal, like, hey, how's your day going? Good. Like, what's up? How are the kids doing? Like, you know, like what that type of conversation started happening. I'm like, this is cool, right? And so I got this real good taste of them, of like two very high integrity people. So when they launched into creating Darknet and starting that up, it was one of these where I went, ooh, okay, like this is interesting, like piqued my interest. And if you look through the original like BTC talks, I mean, it is like code for me, especially. It's like a developer's dream. It's just nothing but like, here we go, we're talking about this, and here's this, all right, figure this out and talk, and I'm just going, this is great. Like, they have a community, but for somebody like me, it's like I love it. I could have a good sense about it. Like, you guys are developing amazing stuff and there's great feedback, but that, like, those other aspects of that community, like, which is what we want, like the public mass adoption. Like, I'm like, guys, when you open the channels, right? And the neatest thing about it, and you know, to Seven's credit and coin servers and the developers, they don't fluff, right? There is not a sense of like they're going to make a promise and say, yep, we're going to do it, and it's going to be done on this date, etc. And you know, people could argue, well, that's not good development code. I respected that because in a lot of crypto, there's a lot of false promises, right? There's a lot of stuff of, oh, we're going to develop this, or this is going to get done, or you know, it's going to be this, and there was almost it's not a negative, but the reaction of, we want to do it different, right? We want to do development. We'll keep our heads down. Yeah, maybe that means we don't get any awareness. And quite frankly, this coin's been around for what, over a year now? Most people had never heard of Darknet, let alone PIVX, right? So that's why when it's interesting, it's come out of left field. It has, because they didn't market this coin. There was not a PR publicity community surrounding it. It was guys that all of a sudden got connected, respected the work. Like, you look at the Git pools, you look at the work being developed, and you look at that, and there's guys going, yep. You look at hero members on Bitcoin Talk talking about it. You look at legendary members, you know, being involved and then picking up and then developing and working and developing. So that core of let's build a solid project was there without the fluff, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes, hey guys, all right, now we can actually let's do the rebrand. Let's start to do marketing. Let's start to actually give this a face, right? Not just a tech aspect. Let's give it room and wings to grow. And I think that's kind of where it was like this beautiful intersection of, you had the rebrand done. You know, Chad knocked that out of the park. I mean, that just tremendous community effort as well to say, here's what the rebrand, here's where we're going to go, here's the vision, here's the talk. And then that sort of catalyzed and created this little nucleation event for a community to assemble around there and go, ooh, what is this? This is something different. We can all engage and talk and shape this thing. And what do we do? I don't know. Let's just start. And that's what happened. And then all of a sudden, there was that genuine heart, compassion, care. As these conversations were happening, it was just this organic, oh yeah, you get that, you operate on that wavelength too? Okay, cool, let's develop this thing. And then it and that's why everybody said it came out of left field, right? Because it kind of did, but at the same time, we have to say, you pay respect to your ancestors and to your elders, right? You have to pay and really credit the developers for their integrity and holding true to what they're doing. Credit the people who are 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old in here, right? Who have jumped in, felt that energy and attached that and said, yeah, this is something special, right? This is something that is sustainable. We want to see grow. So from a historical perspective, that's just me, as an outsider, knowing these two guys sort of individually, knowing CoinServer pretty well, respecting them both as human beings and going, all right, there's a project that, I would like to stay around. And as the doors opened up to be, more involved as a volunteer in the community, it was just yeah, let's go for this. So that is a very non-tech answer of the history of this coin. So, I mean, that's where it's having Spock, I mean, if you want to speak to it, but, getting, and it's something we'll work on, is getting the originator, co-founders' perspectives of what they wanted to do and why they went down this path. I think that'd be something for the community. That'd be great to have. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm nuts. I know.
Yeah, I think you can do the live stream on your own. That's no problem.
I just want to back up. I just want to back up what Snappy said. Before I got involved, when I did my due diligence and I looked at the amazing amount of technical progress that Seven and CoinServer had made, I was floored. And but before I became involved, I spoke with both of them and basically said, look, I'm not really happy about the name, because although it implies privacy, which we want, it also implies illegal activity, which we don't want to be associated with. So if I'm going to get involved, I'd like to see the name change. Are you guys open to that? Because I wasn't going to try to push water uphill. And they were both open to it. They just basically, it wasn't these words, I'm paraphrasing, but they basically said, Well, back then Dash was called Darkcoin, and so we thought we'll fork the code and be Darknet. And it took us a while to do that, but then when we did it, that's what we went with. We didn't really, we weren't sold on the name, but we wanted to get going on the technical, and we figured we worried about the name later. So that's when I realized that, okay, this can happen. We can make it happen. And the other thing that really impressed me about 7, there were not a whole lot of proposals. And but let me back up. I asked about the emission rate, because at that point in time there was the rewards were quite high, and I asked for that background, and he explained, well, I don't really agree with it, but there was a proposal made and it was voted in by the masternodes, so we went with it because the community rules. And that really hit me that, okay, here's somebody who's got a lot of control over the project and probably could have vetoed it, but he's sticking to his guns, and the governance system is the governance system, and it governs. So that really impressed me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just one thing there, like I want to highlight, like the word open was one of the first things that like I felt when I entered the community. And like, for example, like I proposed something kind of like right away, and everybody was there saying, oh, you know about that, like go ahead. And that kind of feeling was really, really interesting. And it has been like that almost like every day that we have been working together. And like I have to even thank you for that, because it has been an incredible experience to be able to work like that.
Yeah, the same happened to me, absolutely. And this is really the feel that I get when I think about PIVX, and when I'm coming into the Slack, it's really just like that. And yeah, I mean, the opinion of the individual is always high, and if someone wants to do something, there are people that are in at the next second, or maybe there's someone criticizing and he's bringing up a good point, and this will be meshed into everything, and then there's an awesome result in the end. Yeah, absolutely. Spock, maybe you want to talk a little bit about the development history of PIVX?
Okay, well, I've just been involved with PIVX since about January, I think.
Okay.
So just before the rebrand. So yeah, so there's a few people that have been around from very early on, I think. One goes by the name Mrs. X, and Press Tab is another, and they're not as active in the community, but they have been working on it for a long time, I think. There was also another person who went by the name Stakebox, I think was one of the original developers. And they sort of mysteriously disappeared late last year. So I think, and of course 7hacks himself as well. So so I think, there was a lot of work, obviously, to go to proof of stake, and I think PressTab done quite a lot of that. And so I think things had kind of slowed down a bit after Stakebox left, but we're picked up quite a few people now recently. So another one that's been helping out quite a lot is someone called Fuzzballs. So I think, yeah, quite a few of us are fairly active on GitHub now, and other people are joining in. So yeah, I think that's kind of an overview of where we're at, and where we're definitely can use more help. I think for the core team, having the C++, or I shouldn't say core team, but like really working on the main wallet we have now, C++ experience helps a lot. It's pretty heavy C++ code, but of course there's lots of other things like websites and mobile apps and things like that people with other experience can help out with. So yeah, I think that's the summary.
Okay, so PIVX actually needs more developers. Did I get that right?
I think we could always use more developers. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So if anyone is watching who's a developer and wants to join, wants to help, come in our Slack and maybe contact Spock or 7hex. Maybe you can help in some way.
Sure.
Okay, Grant, do you want to talk a little bit about swarm intelligence?
Yeah, actually, one of the things I've noticed on the Slack is we get a lot of people coming in saying, what makes you different? How come Ether's better, Dash is better? You think you guys are going to take on Bitcoin? And I have to remind everybody that the thing that makes us stand out is the community and the mentality that we're using. It's, what is it, Rick Falkvinger, I think is his name? The swarm-wise mentality, where everybody gets a say in what's going on, and how PIVX is the only platform in cryptocurrency that is truly listening to everybody and giving everybody an opportunity to really participate in the development of a coin in any way they want to. There's tons to do. There's lots. It doesn't matter if you know development or you even have grandmother. You got a Twitter page, you can help. You know, there's lots to do. So that's sort of what we're working at. And what the beauty of PIVX is that we don't know what's going to come out of this, because there are thousands of us that are really beginning to get together and come up with ideas that we probably would not have come up with on our own. So I think it's important to remind people of that. And there's also, read the manifesto before you start throwing your weight around. If you're new, have a look, because everybody that I've talked to that comes in with a bit of an attitude to our Slack and is redirected to do those two things, to watch the video that's on our pivx.org webpage and read the manifesto, come back and go, wow, this is different. How can I help? And I pretty much 10 out of 10 is how it goes with people like that. They just are floored that we will actually listen. A really great example on how we're going to change things is the masternode vote coming up to remove the monopoly of centralized voting of masternodes and giving everybody the chance to belong to the decision process without having $100,000 in a masternode like Dash, or whatever it is now here, $6,000 for a masternode here. We don't know exactly how it's going to work, but it's an overall general vote of this is what's going to happen. Suddenly, I don't want to say we're giving up centralized power, because it really isn't that way, but everybody's getting the opportunity. It's opening up. And it's the only coin, only platform to actually do that. And it's the only one that will, because Bitcoin Core isn't going to give it up. Dash Core is not going to give it up. Ether Core is not going to give it up. There isn't a single one. I can't think of one that will do a truly democratic, open, caring, loving, honest, platform. Let's go. Let's make let's make shit happen, right? And that's what we do. And it's really exciting to see what's going to happen. So I really want everybody watching, if you haven't, read the manifesto again, watch that video that we have, and if you don't know the guy, just look up Swarmwise on TED Talks, and you'll get the video there.
Yeah, maybe just quick, Rick Falkvinge, he founded the Pirate Party in Sweden, I think. Mm-hmm. That was him, yeah. So you probably found a lot about him, and he's talking about really interesting stuff, and it's actually working in PIVX as I can see it. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about? Is there something else, Matthias? Do you have something in the pipe?
Actually, I don't know, because I I don't know what would happen. Even I think that at one point we will kind of, if we keep increasing the member count as we are doing now, and we get to 10K, that seems totally doable in a month or so. And after that, what I'm seeing right now is a lot of, for example, I'm trying to get some people that I trust in, and I'm seeing that others are doing the same. So if everybody involved is going to bring 3 people that they trust in, this is going to explode, because that 3 people are going to see what we are doing, and they're going to bring other 3. And this is interesting because already that people that you get in, you already has a history together. And so we already are starting from a higher position there. I think that we are developing really quickly some relationships, some strong relationships. I will go even like going to call friends some people that I don't even met in person, so that is very weird. But I mean, like, I think that we could hit at one point some kind of big network effect, like Wikipedia style or things like that, that like you don't even, like, you will not be able to explain it, because like with Wikipedia, like you could never think that like the big encyclopedias will have to close the doors because Wikipedia will be like bigger than them. Like for one people to think about that. But now that it's there, and it's bigger than what, like, all the people that is involved. And if we keep going on like this, and like with this open perspective and all of this, like, I really don't have any idea what will happen. But I really, like, I want to participate because I find it extremely interesting. Like at one point, like I feel like we are like kind of becoming like a wiki of communication channels, like all interconnected and like talking about a lot of topics and like creating things. And again, like, I don't know, it's right now we're working with to try to make this coin happen. And again, like, we are going to do it because like we are going to have 2,000 people, and like most of these people are tech people right now. I like, come on, there are so many developers, and they just like, maybe some, like a lot of them are just starting to like kind of sit down, like get a stacking right, like get a master node. And then when that is done, and they have invested in and buy basically shares of our community, and they want that shares to grow, they're going to want to participate, and they're going to find their way from the general channel to the development channel, from there to the team of development. And like, I really don't know what is going to happen, but it's like, it's crazy to see. And I really want to I don't know, like.
I love what I see occurring, and I think what everybody's sensing, and what Matthias, what you just described, is that beautiful, like, we have no idea from the community side, right? On the tech code core development, right? Like, I hate splitting things apart, but you kind of have to in this 3D matrix realm. All right, there's the code coin, right? There's the core elements. Okay, we've got developers. There's a team on that. They're working hard. It seems like every day there's more people chiming in, like, hey, can I get involved? And like, that's phenomenal, right? So that's awesome to have that. There's a directionality there. There's new ideas coming in, being bounced around. So, you know, it's tremendous to have that. And what's kind of nice is when, like, we all sense it, when there's that high level of trust already there about these guys are doing their stuff and they're doing it great. They're looking to feedback for the community, right? Like this whole governance thing that we're trying to do, which is insane, right? Like, hey, masternodes, by the way, you can still vote, but we're going to open it up to everybody else. Why not? Because we're going to choose to as a community, right? The developers go, okay, cool, let's figure out how to build that, right? So that trust level is that unspoken trust that's there. And us as like almost this community neural network is going, all right, we're flowing this, right? We are intimately linked into the development of the code, but we're not the ones actually doing it, right? It's at this point, this organic connection. And, you know, I sometimes say the feminine masculine energy. It's just the way I have to describe it. You've got this very, very directional masculine energy on the code base, on this core. There is an organic aspect to it, but it's that logic linear, here's this processing. This community flow is more of that feminine energy. And you're getting this, like, this connection, right? You're getting both going, I'm trusting you. When you have a high level of trust in a relationship, like, it doesn't even have to be, I'm not saying gender, I'm saying masculine, feminine energy. When that trust is there, oh my gosh, like in your relationships, right? Like if you have friends that are more masculine energy or more feminine energy or male, whatever it is, when you have that, that's when magic happens, right? That's when you have this kismet tight relationship that occurs between two people. We're having it on a community level, right? We're having it on, you've got these developers that are just doing outstanding work, and this community that's going, I don't really know quite what the direction is and where we're going to go, but we're going with the flow, right? And all of a sudden we've got, 43 Slack channels and 1,700 people in Slack, and we're going, okay, like, let's prepare for 10,000. Why? Because it's probably going to happen like in the next 3 weeks. Who knows? But it's like, all right, if this continues to go the way it's going, we have to be prepared for that. So what's great and what I love about this community is there's so little attachment, right? There is a dedication to being ourselves and being authentic and being high integrity. And as we said, looking across the screens and typing and saying, this is the person I would want to be if I'm looking at you face to face, right? That connection. And we're going, all right, so what's next? All right, you want to build a website that displays this and uses PIVX? All right, let's figure out how to support that. You want to do this aspect? Let's figure, I don't know. This is the stuff you can't roadmap out, and it just occurs out of creating that space. And Matthias, I love that you've said it over and over of you create the space for people and magic happens, right? You create that safe environment where there's energy infused into it and magic and we're seeing it, right? We're seeing it left and right. You're seeing these little pockets of people pop up and go, boop, all right, I'm going to develop this, and boop, all right, now we got this component of the website, and boop, now we got that. You can't plan for that. All you can do is stay true to your core, stay true to who you are, and then inject that back into people and just watch everything occur. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm totally on your side. What someone in the YouTube live chat was asking if any of us or someone who's in the project wants to do a talk at the university. What do you guys think about that? Is someone up for it?
depends where.
Okay, let's see if they tell us where. But yeah, I think there are probably people inside the project who would like to do that. Maybe not the devs because they're anonymous, but maybe one of us who have a face. Sorry, I just have to clear my throat. Yeah, yeah, cold and so on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do we want to talk about a little bit about the governance system that is being developed? Yeah, Michael is nodding. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll say a little bit about that. I mean, I think it you know, going off what just Snappy said, you know, I think the idea of our government's system and the government's formulation is still coming into form. And I think it should take some time to really give that some thorough thought from as many people as possible. There's currently a page in the forum designated to discussing how the voting system could work, and there's a variety of ideas being presented. I for one, think a key element of that might be having a very careful consideration around how PIVX itself as a currency is associated to the democratic process itself. I think there could maybe be some distinction between the currency and maybe another token, a sister token, so to speak, in the PIVX ecosystem that would be associated with voting itself, so that we can clarify money and investment from the democratic process. And there would always be an overlap between these two things. Meaning that to do proper governance also requires funding, and the amount of currency coming into projects in some sense does give a weight to how important and how successful that will be. So, but the point is that I think we are beginning to look at that carefully with at least a few people there, and I just really encourage to get as much input on that from the greater community as possible. You know, again, going off of what was said around swarm intelligence, a related idea around swarm intelligence is the notion of the wisdom of the crowds, which was another book that was written, meaning that it's basically a book that's represented off of a study that showed that anytime you have a question around how to do something or some kind of phenomena, that the greater the population and the more diverse the population that's giving input into that decision, the more intelligent of a decision you're going to get. And in fact, statistically speaking, the greater the swarm making that decision, the the intelligence of the decision will statistically be more accurate than any one or few intelligent experts, individuals within the system. And it's just one of those things that we don't fully understand, and yet statistically it works. So the point is, the more people we have being involved with deciding how our government system works, then the more intelligent that government system is. So I just really encourage anyone listening to this video to think about that and get involved.
Yeah, and I really want to stress, if you want to get involved in the governance discussion, just join the governance channel in Slack and pop your ideas in. We can always need new input to make a great governance system, one that is sustainable and yeah, it's fair to everyone, not just maybe masternodes or someone else. Yeah. Okay. Something else you want to talk about?
I have a question. I think we all kind of would have been working along the swarm-wise methodology regardless. And in fact, I think we were moving along that way when somebody pointed out Rick Falkveen's video, and then it immediately got posted on our website because it's like, okay, watch this 18-minute video. Yeah, that's what we want to do, that kind of thing. But I'm struggling. All of a sudden, I'm realizing there's all these different areas that I was involved in. And when Slack membership ballooned, I realized I can't be in all those places all at the same time. So I went back and watched the Swarmwise video again. And one of the things that Rick points out is for his application for, getting seats in Parliament, in the Swedish Parliament, he quickly organized everybody into geographical regions because then they could be more efficient. That works for when you're a political leader and you've got a voting area and you can divide it up. I guess we could divide the world into time zones or whatever, but I don't think that kind of geographical division would help us in this case. I think we need to divide up more into teams of certain areas of responsibility, and I know there's people working on that, but I'm curious if everybody else has had that same experience where you watch the video again and realize, okay, I've learned more, now this is how we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthias, I think you mentioned it on the last live stream, but do you want to repeat what you're doing with the Slack channels, with the teams?
Yeah, basically, again, no idea, but no,
that's no problem.
We have started. I think that we are learning on every step, and we do something and it works, and because it works, the people that are there propose something else, and it keeps just growing. As somebody said here, roadmap. How do you roadmap this? I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. If there is going to be 300 people joining tomorrow, and these 300 people that are going to have 300 different life experience, interests, skills, how do you know what they are going to do from their own? It's impossible. So basically, this idea of trying to create the space for them to thrive and to work and to, for example, something that happened that somebody enter and say hey, I know a little bit about taxes. And I think that Grant said oh, I'm interested on that. And they were talking in governance or something like that. And we created right away a channel that was pips to fiat or something like that. And boom, there was a very big discussion there, and other people chip in. And right now we are kind of losing a lot there because we don't have public history. And again, everybody, please be safe there, and don't post personal information, your assets, everything else, from April 1st, let's go public because it's going to be good. We are going to held accountable, and things things that it's good to accountability in public channels is good. We have private spaces if we want to talk about different subjects, but in the public, let's try to be respectful from to everybody. And I see that we are doing it. If you see the general thread with so many people, so different views of the world, the respect that normally there is in that thread is just amazing. Like we had some incidents where like things were getting a little bit with a negative energy, but like it was quickly diffused. And like then like everybody was kind of like tipping everybody and like, I don't know, beer and hearts everywhere. So I think like I feel that thread, for example, I feel that is extremely important from the community. Is like the heart there, like everybody like commenting and like posting stuff that is cool and like. But we have to take things out of there because you cannot build something there. It's impossible. Like you post something and there is like maybe 300 people that already comment on it and it's gone. And it's nice to have this kind of like feeling that a lot is happening. Like there is so much energy there. But then you have to take all that energy and like, what do you want to do? Do you want to develop? Okay, like development space. And that is not enough because in development, there are like 20 different subjects. Okay, like a development team. And in the development team, you have 20 more spaces. And then like, we keep like just expanding until like I don't know, like all the expansion that we need to work. It's just that, like, I think that from the heart, all that energy, like it will just like float like blood towards all the different teams. And like, I think that we can get a lot better in this idea of like the grid there, like to like try to connect better the teams and try to get more, mainly discoverability. That is what we are really, really missing, because people, when they enter, they don't know that all these spaces exist. So they are asking for things in general because they don't, basically they just don't know they exist, and we are not providing some basic, like, imagine that if you have a dashboard where you see all the spaces with description of like what is in each of them. Like, it will be very easy if we direct everybody there first, they will know where to go. It's, I don't know, like, it's also fun to just get the newcomer there to general and get like, it has like one answer and then like 50 people that just like answers, and like, I don't know, like, I think that for the amount of people we are there right now, like tracking that thread is just amazing.
Yeah.
We just expand.
Matthias, can you maybe go a little more into this grid thing? Because I don't think many people know it. I mean, all of us here in the Hangout know it, but not in the live stream. Maybe you can briefly explain what it is and what you want to do with this idea.
Yeah, this is not what I want to do first, but
okay.
like, because really, like, it's not happening like as I want. Because at each step that we do, it's like something different happen, and we discover between like a lot of us that we are talking. For example, in the meta channel, there is a lot of people there. Like, and somebody throws something, and like other ideas pop up, and like, I think that we should be liberal in this sense of creating the spaces because they are free. Like, it's not that like we are spending or this fear that the community will divide. No, like, we are still, everybody's in general. Everybody is there, and from there, like, if somebody wants to talk about other subjects, let him do, like, let him talk. It's not a problem. And about the grid, like, what happened is Slack, this concept of basically like a group of teams, basically, and like each team has a group of channels where they discuss about things, but like only one Slack with 1,000 channels, it doesn't scale, because the main Slack basically is going to become like a bazaar, a marketplace, like so buzzing in energy. Like, for example, like the marketing thread in the main Slack is going to be like, one, we have like so many people, it's going to be like post, like, we did this, like, you cannot work there. You can, the only thing you can see there is the amount of progress that everybody is doing. But then if that is just going to be kind of like then you need some more like safe space to work, like a more like quiet place to where you really can discuss. And so this is what basically a Slack grid was about. Like, they allowed you to create the teams and the roles that everybody's involved. So there is like, we have right now a development team where there aren't 1,000 750 people. Right now, I don't know how many, but maybe 50, 55. I don't know how many people there are there. And there will be more that will join. But not everybody needs to be there. Not everybody needs to track that, because not everybody is interested in that particular part. But there is also a team of marketing. There is also a team of governance that right now is not working that much, because maybe there isn't enough people involved there to justify it. But once, like, because now Pim, like Gaio, like another guy today, like they were discussing like a lot there in the threat of governance, and maybe they at one point feel that threat is not enough. And they need to break down the governments in several topics, because there are several topics to discuss. There are a lot of them. So then they are going to move to the governance channel, and we need we need a way to kind of like join, like, and link these teams to be able to move from one another like easily.
Yeah.
Basically, that's it.
I think that's the architecture is basically set up. I mean, right now, I think I think we have 8 or 9 actual Slacks, right? So the one that we're all in right now is, the what's pivx.slack.com, like that's the actual like Slack link, right? So that's the one that has general and all of the channels in it. We have set up like 7 or 8 PIVX- other Slacks. So there's a PIVX-gov, which is governance, PIVX-dev, which is development, PIVX-mkt, marketing. So and the reasoning behind that is exactly as what Matthias was saying, is we're going to, and this goes back, Eric, to your point as well about the swarm creating, geographic. What they did is they segmented people into geographic regions, right? Oh, you're from this part, here, you go here. Oh, you're from this part, you go here. We're doing it, and we're thinking what might work is the people who self-select into an area that they like, is that they can self-select into there, right? So where right now the barrier to entry is they're there. There's no real easy way to get in yet. Now there's been created auto invites for a lot of those Slacks. What we're thinking is creating, Matthias was saying, a dashboard, right? So you log in, or we can post it publicly. It's a simple dashboard. Maybe it's on pivx.org on the website, and it just got tiles, right? Much like, it's usable on your phone, and you can hover over it and say, oh, this is the pivx-gov. What is that about? Oh, this is where we talk about governance and all the things related to governance. Oh, okay, boom, now auto invite and you're in, right? So you're not directly in the Slack channel that we're in. You're in a whole other Slack, right? It's a whole other world, but the connection is there because it's all PIVX, right? So what the grid does, right? So this is what the grid does. The Slack grid charges you an obscene amount of money. And what it allows you to do is to float in and out, right? Basically, they created their own little Slacks. So it's like this Slack and this Slack and this Slack, and they network them together. We're just doing it without having to pay all that money, right? So we approach them to say, hey, it's an open source project. Can you give it to us for free? Yada, yada, yada. They don't do that. So we're basically bootstrapping this together because, again, we're going to hit 5,000 members, 10,000 members, and they need space to go. So rather than doing it from a geographic region, we're thinking doing it in terms of oh, you identify around this, or your SILSCET is this, or you want to do this. Come in as many as you want, right? So then the nice thing is in that Slack, so let's pick marketing, for example, right? So if you go into the marketing Slack, the PIVX-mkt, there's channels that are being set up of here's Facebook, here's Instagram, here's Twitter, here's general overview, here's this, XYZ. Why? Because when you've got 60, 70, 80, 90 people now in that marketing Slack, they can all then talk about those specific ideals or the specific things, and it doesn't get lost. So that's where we're going. That's been, a big thanks to Matthias, for holding a lot of that energy and throwing those ideas out, and then the community going like, yeah, this is great. Like we're going to need this. And we just kind of ran with it because we're like, again, we don't know what we're doing, right? We're kind of putting this together, and it seems to be working. I mean, at least in the development Slack, there's some good chatter going on, right? Like I know those guys have been thankful to have that space. So, it's kind of a patience we're working on trying to figure out how the flow all works and gets connected. But yeah, we're working on scaling that so that when we hit the 10,000 or heck, when we hit 50,000 people coming into this, right, we're going to need a way to accommodate all that communication. Maybe it won't be Slack at that point. Who knows? But for now, it's what we got.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that insight. Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone of the viewers wants to join one of these Slacks, maybe you just ask in the channel meta where the Slacks are. I think I'm gonna share the doc that Pim just posted here, and you can see the different Slacks and just join them and maybe help if you want to.
Yeah. So one thought would be, at least because we have governance, marketing, development, etc., we could post the specific invites up in the sticky, I guess, in the header. We could probably put that hyperlink up there for now, so that way if people go in, they can be directed there. So that's something that we could do pretty easily as like the next step to getting that flow down.
That's a very good idea. And one thing about geography is that, like, we have one, for example, that is called the world, the PIVX world. And there, like, supposedly there will be all the languages of all the people that are interested. And is that space, like, is kind of like people are slowly going there? And like, basically we have a French, a German, and a Spanish thread in the main Slack, and that they are working there. But I don't know if we can have all the languages in the world in the main Slack. Maybe it's going to be too much for it, like, because again, it's about discoverability. Like, there are too much for the main Slack. So all that group of related things that are all the languages in the world, we can put it in a Slack world, and it would be nice to be there. Like, there is now even an Esperanto channel there that we have like one person there, but maybe later there will be more. He's not able to communicate with so many people there, but I don't know, like, and maybe that particular Slack can be something very friendly, because that doesn't need to be geeky at all. Like, that doesn't need to even be about the coin.
Yeah.
That can be only about the community, and from there, a gateway to get to the main Slack. Like.
By the way, does anybody of you know how other projects with community size like PIVX, how they do it? Do they use Slack or do they use something else?
Yeah, a lot of the coins will use Slack. I know a couple that have similar sized groups, right? They've been around for a while. As far as I know, they have one Slack. They set up moderators and that's it. So yeah, it was interesting actually in the CCC, the Crypto Community Club. James Clayton from Expanse, the Facebook group that he started. There was a post today actually asking for Slacks for different altcoins, and there's a few that were posted. So if I'll try and find the link, but yeah, a lot of them will use Slack because it's easy, it's free, it's accessible. Apps, etc. As far as I know, they typically use one Slack. They haven't branched into a grid system that we're trying to set up. Maybe because we're just insane and we think that we're going to grow from 200 people to 1,000 in a month, and we did it in what, like 10 days, not even. So we're planning big. This is what's fun.
Yeah, what I was wondering about, if those coins that have that huge of a size and everyone wants to work actually for that project, are they able to work in the Slacks, or can we maybe be a role model on how to organize that in some way? That was what I was thinking about. No.
And this isn't, I know nothing about how those other Slacks work. Like I'm in PIVX and probably way too much, but it is what it is. So the thing that I can imagine is gut sense of being around in crypto and in other communities. I've never seen this level of openness to say, hey, you guys want to help? Sure, come on in, right? Yep, there's like an energetic trust level that needs to be established, but it's literally Oh, you're good with this? Here, sure, jump in. You want to figure out like how to tweak the tip box? Okay, sure, tweak that. You want to jump in code? Cool. You just build a website to display master nodes and rewards? Like, all right, that's awesome. I feel like, and this is, again, we're just stepping into this, not really knowing how we're doing it. We're creating that space so those ideas can be captured, right? Because again, as Matthias said, if you're in one Slack with 1,700 people and even 50, 60 channels, stuff tends to get lost, right? Especially history. I mean, let's face it. If every person types 9 messages during the day, tomorrow we have a whole new set of history, right? In Slack, we're going to hit the 10,000 mark. Like, you know, like we're going to hit that. So having these other spaces are going to be crucial for that legacy to go back for ideas and conversations. My gut sense is they're missing out on a lot of that talent, right? They haven't, what we're doing is harnessing that swarm energy. We're harnessing that universal connectedness energy and not trapping it into a box, right? We're saying, no, we've got to expand in order for that intelligence, in order for that development to occur. So that's my gut sense. You know, maybe they are doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. The gut sense I have of PIVX is there's that freedom and accessibility that isn't there with others.
And if I could jump in quick, I have been in the back of a couple of different coin development team Slacks. They're not open. They don't even communicate in their own Slack in the general. They will always do the private messages generally. It's a little bit of an ivory tower situation with a lot of these coins. So I think this model, what we're going for, is a lot more productive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Private conversations, totally private conversations, where the community cannot somehow join just that easily. I mean, with PIVX, there are no barriers to join, to do something. There are none. The barrier is at 0. But with other projects, there is kind of a high barrier just to join. I mean, all of them have kind of public Slacks, but to really get into it, to really get new information, to give new information is kind of hard. Yeah.
But they're a traditional top-down corporate sort of mentality, right? It's the opposite of what we're doing here. This is totally different.
No. Yeah, what was interesting for me, I saw, and I think you have too, that video where one guy on YouTube was talking about PIVX and Dash, and that PIVX and Dash are kind of following company path, an entrepreneurial path. I think PIVX is not really following that path consciously, but I think we're doing it right in some kind of way. What is your thought about that? Do you know about what? Yeah.
You asking somebody specifically or any one of us?
You better point somebody out or I'm just going to start talking. Come on, you guys know better than that.
Yeah, come on, Brian.
Go for it. Go for it,
You're good at it.
Michael, go. Come on. You wrote. Do it.
You have to unmute yourself to talk. Unmute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Snappy. You go first.
Oh. All right, I'll keep it short. We are not following the traditional corporate model. We're following a relational, community-based model of development, right? Where almost your resume, right? Your CV is your integrity and your trust, right? I don't care what your skill sets are. I don't care what your background is. Do you have that relational integrity, trust with one another and developing into the community? Cool. You have that? Let's go, right? Where do you want to run with this? That seems to be sort of the unspoken, that's what this is about, which is relational, right? You know, like you can do your transaction with, you know, your local deli guy all day long, never talk to him, but how much more fun is it when you get to know him and engage and then all of a sudden it opens up and now you're talking to his friend who owns a car shop and you got a deal, and you know, that's how life works, right? On that level. That's what we're doing, I feel like, within PIVX. So where most coins in the past, again, this is very, very generic. You know, I can't speak for them. So I'll speak for us. We're doing it in a way where it's relational. As we said, I want to look across the table. I want to look across this, strip PIVX away and go, like, you're an awesome person. I want to have a conversation with you, right? Like that's that feel. So there's people who don't want that and they'll be in crypto and that's fine. But from a growing this whole community and PIVX together, that seems to be that approach that we're taking. So that gives you then the freedom to say, sure, what do you want to do? Rather than having to pigeonhole people into a specific set of ideals or, oh, you're a developer, so therefore you must develop. No, because there's a dude who might be a developer and is like, you know what? I really like to do artistic stuff and maybe this is my space where I can express that. Cool, right? Like that's what we get here. I feel like with other projects and other coins and communities, it is the very much of a, it's the protection, it's a fear-based model of, well, we know the devs, right? We know they're working on it. We don't know any of you, so I'm not really gonna let you in. But maybe it's a little bit, but maybe not.
Yeah. Michael?
Yeah. What one way I've been describing PIVX recently to some of my friends is, and this is just a metaphor, but I see PIVX is like the Burning Man of crypto. That's the way I think of it. For those who are familiar with Burning Man, right? And he's like, yeah, and I for one personally, my first Burning Man was in 1997. It changed my life. I've gone for 12 years. You know, it's just Burning Man was a phenomenal innovation in community gathering that really changed the world in ways that maybe a lot of people don't realize. And the main part of that, and what's similar with PIVX, is that you know there was an initiation to begin it, and that's important. And the intention behind that initiation is also important. I think that PIVX has that. But now we're at this stage where there's such a rapid community development, and as you're saying, Snappy, you know, that community development is held in a space of total inclusivity and total creativity, where anything can happen. And that's similar to Burning Man, where there was people would go to Burning Man and their lives would change because there's such a profound sense of innovation and freedom happening there that really liberates the sense of where we're coming from common society, and we just so need this in the world right now. We need it again, and I don't mean to even limit PIVX by what Burning Man is or what Burning Man has become. But I just see a similarity here, at least at what we're at now, and that we can still follow in that same vein, just really being open and continuing to allow people to organize themselves and let that swarm intelligence create something that the world really needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sarah, I know the video you're talking about where the guy basically equated Dash and PIVX as being special because they operate like a business. I think that's the phrase he used. They operate as a business. And he specifically pointed to because they know how to make decisions. And I get where he's coming from, but I think the similarity, you know, he's just talking about governance, and the similarities disappear really fast if you dig any deeper in that. Because, you know, there's a case where, I'm just collecting my thoughts here. You know, we don't have an org chart. So we're not like a business at all that way. We don't even have an org chart that's flat. We just don't have an org chart. And, you know, if you follow the Swarmwise video, it basically says the only time there needs to be authority given to a role is if you are a swarm manager. So it's okay for people to be appointed authority and such that they can say, hey, small group, you're getting a little bit too big, you need to divide up. Otherwise, you're not really following the swarm methodology. So take your task and divide it into two and split it into two groups. Or they may say, okay, I see you're doing really great in terms of swarm methodology. What tools do you need? What do you want me to go and get for you and bring to you? So in those roles, there can be authority. Otherwise, there can't. So that's very, very different from a business. In the team profile page, we've kind of taken an approach of when you pick your title, you get to pick your own title, but it should not be anything that uses words that imply authority. Like you can't be a supervisor or a manager or a director. So what a lot of us have done, it's kind of a struggle with that, but what we do is we try to pick a title that kind of defines what we do, like our skill set, not what our responsibilities are. And I failed at that. I picked the title project manager, thinking that I'm not managing people, I'm managing things in the project. And I thought, at least in our community, it would be understood. But somebody in our community came to me with an idea. He private messaged me, and he passed his idea by me, and I discussed it with him. And I didn't think it was a great idea, and I let him know that. And his response was, "Oh well, I'm really glad I talked to you about it, because if the project manager thinks it's a bad idea, it's better it gets killed now than before I put any effort into it." I'm like, whoa, that's wrong. So I explained to him that I'm not the project manager, I'm a project manager, and that if he feels the idea is good and wants to run with it, go find somebody else to talk to about it. And if a lot of people are on his side and it's going to move forward, great. Then I'm wrong, run with it. And so we had that discussion. But I thought to myself, if somebody in our community thinks that I have that authority when I don't, then the title we give ourselves is really important. So I immediately went to the project page and the team profile page and changed my title and took out that word, right? But when somebody does that, somebody does a video like the one you're referring to, Sarah, and equates us to a business, they haven't dug that deep, I don't think. It's very different.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me, the word alone, business. I don't know. It's not really what I can relate to PIVX. I mean, I know what he meant in some way, that we know how to make these decisions, but also in the swarm-wise model, you can make decisions if you're in a swarm. It is possible. And yeah, if you're doing it good, you're efficient. Well, let's run with this. Yeah, absolutely. Pim, do you want to say something? Maybe you've been so quiet. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. The microphone is very sensitive. Well, in general, I think it's important to serve progress and things fit into the manifesto. So you don't have so many checkpoints, basically. You just, if you have an idea, you check if it fits. That's where you can move forward. I like to think, well, to keep things as simple as possible. I think that for me, that's the most ideal way to move on. So progress, and does it fit in the manifesto? If it, then you can move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like a business, or maybe it is like a business, but a business we don't know. I was just thinking, like, maybe it's not even maybe we should not even have a foundation in the future or something like that to have legal advice, or have let it be artificial intelligence who finds it out for us, because artificial intelligence is already better than any lawyer, you know. So I mean, if there is no foundation, it's also very difficult to, well, to put you into a corner if you have if you get maybe problems in the future with authorities who are not happy about I mean, they want to maintain, the old world order wants to maintain, they want to keep status quo, and of course it's impossible with all the possibilities given us. And it would be better if they would cooperate, if a United Nations would say, okay, we will be a United Nations of the people instead of the United Nations of the and yes, but there are openings, absolutely. And it's very interesting, and I feel very good about it and all this change.
Thank you. I'm totally on your side.
There is a global challenge. Maybe it's interesting to describe how you can transform. Did you hear about the global challenge? Any of you here heard about global challenge or no? I will provide the link in the chat.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. Greg, do you also want to add something? Because I think Grant and Chet, who was it, Eric, need to leave soon, and me too. Do you want to add something? Do you want to say something important?
Just about anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I've noticed, just getting in the Slack, we've answered a lot of questions with having so many people come on so quickly. We keep repeating ourselves, answering the same questions over and over. A lot of people are, this is an issue that I think when we hit 10,000, none of us will be able to sleep. We're going to be on it all the time. So I think if we could have some type of group effort to come up with a really nice video tutorial system, someplace where we can put instructions. I know the community has been helping out with some of these things. I've seen them, but I think we need a very and this needs to be, I think, organized, like an organized set of these are your steps that you take. These are the videos that you should watch in order for all the things, and have one place that we keep those, and we can start directing people to that area with very detailed information. It's hard to walk people through in text how to do technical things. So I've actually done some screen sharing with people to help them get up and running with stuff, because you can't tell.
Yeah.
If they say I did that, then you're like, oh, that's the button I'm supposed to click, or
Yeah, absolutely. I know that problem.
Yeah, you missed a colon there, and they're like, oh, I didn't know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to grow so fast. This is the craziest thing I have ever seen. So
I think.
I mean, I'll tell you, I was up till 2 o'clock last night talking with my parents and my brother. I'm not kidding, about PIVX and the growth that we're having, and they are so excited. We didn't even know until about 1:30 what time it was. I've got people contacting me off of Facebook saying, will you be my broker? And I'm like,
yes.
But everybody's so
uploaded a wallet.
Yeah, everybody's wanting to get into this space, and there's a lot of complexity in just getting in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're hitting like where the internet was. I don't know exactly what year, maybe 2000 to 2004, where people didn't even know what the word internet meant.
1992.
Do what?
1992. First email went out, and people said, "What do I need that for?"
Exactly. So but the infrastructure was being built, and there was a lot of people like we are now that know this space, but they knew that space then.
Yeah.
And when the internet actually became a household word and people understood it, it exploded. Now everybody's on the internet. This is going to happen to crypto, and we are not as far off as people think. They are coming, man. These people are coming. If 1% of all of the money that was in investments right now moves over into crypto, can you imagine if we go from 25 billion to 500 billion, how many people there are coming to this space? We got to get ready. I mean, this is serious what this is going to turn into. This is the new, the blockchain and crypto and communities and being separated away from centralized, moving to all decentralized. This is coming. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I gotta agree, 100%.
Totally.
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that you just said is, as a community, then one of the responsibilities, if we choose to take it on or not, is how to continue to improve it for people who do not know the space, right? So even the non-tech people within crypto, if you've been in long enough, you can figure your way around, right? Because you know the jargon, you know what things mean. This is a whole new language. It's an entire new set of vocabulary words. It's a whole new language. It's a whole new set of people, right? Like, granted, like you have these people in all different sectors, but you know who to trust, what to look for, what not to look for, why, etc. So if we continue to step into the realms that we're doing, I feel like we have that potential to be that community to go to, right? That de facto, hey, I want to know about crypto. I'm coming into PIVX. Why? Maybe not. I might even buy the coin. I just know I can go there and get solid information and get a helping hand. Cool, great. Like, go on your way. You know, like at the end of the day, yeah, we're building this crypto, but we're building a community, right? We're about, here's our set of ideals. Here's what we're about. So to your point, making this simpler, you know, and Pim, I think that was that your statement as well. Simple, right? Like, make this simple. And I know we're getting there, right? Like, we have expanded incredibly in terms of numbers here. Now it's almost like, all right, we have this blessing of manpower and female, I shouldn't stereotype. We have a lot of energy, right? We've got a ton of energy. that is now available and resources and that intellectual capital to begin to do all these things that, you know, even 2 months ago we're like, well, that might happen in a year. Yeah, this could happen in a couple of months in terms of development stuff. So let's continue to keep those spaces and also keep that energy moving forward, as you said, of like, hey, yeah, let's simplify it. You know, if we can find somebody to do videos and make them clean and sharp and put them up, perfect, right? And if you've got a sense, if you got the pulse on here's the questions being asked repeatedly, I know we've got up on the GitHub some FAQs, right? Creating videos around those, creating videos around the support channels, supporting those people. Amazing. And then on the development side, you know, going to simpler wallets, I think that's been a big discussion as well, of like just simple, like, you know, PIVX pay wallets of like, here we go, transferring, boom, boom, boom. I believe we're going to get there. I mean, quite honestly, it's just I don't know how fast it's going to happen, because the rate we're going, it's yeah, it's going to be huge. So yeah.
One thing before, I am sometimes already turned off by the word simple, but I see that it's really important for a lot of things. Like a wallet should be simple, should just click and it works, and everybody should understand it without even have to read a manual. Like, and I think we were totally agreed in that. Like, I just don't want the word simple to be attached to the complex network of trust that it's going to be developing here. Yeah. Like, there is nothing simple about PIVX. Like, there is going to be so massive and so complex, and it's not a problem, because if you approach it slowly, and if you get the first day and you just reach general, and from there you get to development, but you stay there in the gateway, and maybe from there, the next day you came again and you discovered, wow, there is a slack of development, a full new space that I didn't know about. And you go there and you start working there. Like, you can slowly get into more and more, like a deep feeling of how complex and deep and integrated is the community. And if you stay around enough, you're going to even like make friends, you're going to get into places like I don't know, like private conversation also are not bad. To be 10,000 people in the public, like there are going to be forums where we are going to need to talk in private. It's not a problem if we then are like take that we build in the private and put it in the public, because the public scene is extremely important. And I just that, like I love the word simple to attach to task and like things like wallets and these kind of things, but like I love the word complex, like, because I really want to discover and I really don't want to understand. Like, if I understand PIVX at one point, I'm out. Like, I really don't want to understand.
Well, it's to your point, you just yin-yanged. You just totally yin-yanged this entire project, right? Look at a flower, right? It's beautiful. It's exquisite. You can look at it and you just get that sense of this is something, you know, amazing. And then you could take it into a lab and dissect it and analyze all the complexities and still not have a complete understanding of how the hell it works, right? That is what, I mean, let's just, do you dare go on a limb and saying what we are creating here and what we're doing is life itself?
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, it's life itself. We just happen to be involved with the tools, which are cryptocurrencies, tech, etc. That's it.
I think that at one point we are just living our life. Like, it's just that we are just getting the right communication channels to do so. And that communication channels needs cryptography, need decentralization, need good tools of communication. It's just that we are going to start living our life more connected.
Yep.
I don't feel that it's that much different to what we are going to do in a bar or in a co-work office or in any of the spaces that we normally work with.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe nice last words for this live stream is piff and let piff.
Yes.
Okay, and I think we should yeah, finalize this hangout and meet again sometime, anytime soon.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for setting it up.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.